WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Hi, Lieutenant. How are you doing? Aw, did you find your land nav point, Lieutenant? Good job, Lieutenant. You get a
Expert Action Badge.
Put on your uniform right?
Expert Action Badge.
Show up to work on time.
Expert Action Badge.
Qualify on your weapon.
Expert Action Badge. Badge of Action.
Find your guide on.
Expert Action Badge.
That's right. Just doing your noble warrior task and drills, you get a
Expert Action Badge.
Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
Shit in a bag, Pogue. Badge of Action.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Action Badge.
What is this Facebook Live? I've never heard of this shit.
Let's roll.
Morning, Sergeant Major.
How do you know what kind of goddamn day it is?
Beautiful morning, Sergeant Major.
Are you a fucking weatherman now?
You're listening to Sergeant's Time on WTF Nation Radio.
Broadcasting live. Yeah. Hanging out, recording podcasts. Man, I was even putting my feelers out in the job market. Just hopefully I said, hey, you're not gonna have the ass if I do some podcasting, right? And they're like, oh, what do you? I don't want to imitate their voices, but it's just as for of course. What do we Sergeant Me Harder cost? Really? Yeah. You want some sergeanting? Sergeanting with some bourbon. How about that tonight? Bourbon time. I'm sitting here sipping on, of course, Buffalo Trace. All well, everyone's good. Yep. Good deal. So I said, I do podcasts, right? And they're like, what kind of podcasts? So I gave them some links. So hopefully, not saying hopefully, but it was just really like a discussion. Hey, would you like and all that. So I was just trying to be friendly and all that. I don't know if it was a job interview or it was a discussion interview for a job or who knows. I did say, fabulous job interview. No, it wasn't for the fabs. Woo, man. It wasn't for the fabbins. I wasn't fabbing. But unless it's 5 fab. But if it's 5th S fab, I could deal with that. I could deal with 5th S fab. They're a bunch of good guys, gals. Only because I have several of my colleagues have gone there to do their things, and it's like, well, they like it. So I don't know about the other fab. They're drinking that allocated bourbon, dude, man. I have to snap my fingers when I do that. Is that what? Hey, I get the snaps with the fingers. But anyways, yeah, it was a good day, pretty productive day. I conducted an interview today with you'll just see. We have some surprise guests, previous guest and another surprise guest that joined us before, but now we're going to have another one using a little bit of technology and all that. It's pretty cool how we set it up, and even the surprise guest was like, whoa, oh, okay, whoa, we never used to do like this. And so that's how they know us here in the WTF Nation. Sipping on some bourbon, thinking about that yellow bird with a yellow bill. That's right, sitting on my windowsill. I lured him in a piece of bread. Then I squashed his little head. The moral of the story is clear. To get some head, you need some bread. It's a cadence. I don't know why everyone's getting upset. So we'll be shooting the breeze. Lots of recruiting news. I did visit did visit a recruiting station, as promised, and all I got from the NCUIC was a bunch of T-shirts and swag and lanyards thrown at me, and then was immediately shuffled to the door with the public affairs officer's email address and point of contact. They were pretty good sports about it. They were actually busy when I visited, and they were getting to work. They were getting at it. So I didn't want to interfere with that, and just kind of like it was pretty good. We had some good talks. Asked me about my service. Asked me how I was going. I asked, hey, can I come back in? Kind of joking around and all this other stuff. But yeah, they had T-shirts, man. They had T-shirts, and I also had Spanky, I miss you too. I also had to talk to the NCO where I was at. I walked in, and they had all their equipment. It was a pretty decent little recruiting station. So shout out to the NCOIC. They know who they are. They also are paying attention in the chats right now. And then so more recruiting stuff. Some of the discussions, we didn't have that in depth anything like that. It was more like, hey, hi, I'm Ice. I actually called. I should have called. I called first. I should have just I should have just went in there and just showed up. Hi, but instead I don't know. It's something that's inside me to if you're walking into somebody else's kingdom, you pay respects and you do the right thing, and all that. Oh, you see the side pic? You see the ghost in the background? Oh man, I know, huh? It's an awesome painting, isn't it? It's a beautiful painting. Oh yeah, it was gorgeous. I was like overwhelmed when I got that painting. And I'm in the feels, you know what I mean? It got me in the feels. What do I think of the recruiting video? GoArmySoft.com. There you go. You can join PSYOP. I mean, you can also join SF and CA, but I'm kind of partial and biased to the PSYOP regiment. But a nice video. Who likes to do gun laws, right? Well, that's going to be a Monday edition show. I'm going to talk about that. But there are some stuff that have been released by the Supreme Court. Woo, buddy. Man, is that a lava lamp? Where? I don't see it. I don't see no lava there. You know, lava lamp. Oh, those lamps. Oh, the lamps that I have. No, they're small cube fiberglass. These are from a group out of the UK, and they are the ones that knocked it out. It's pretty good design. That one behind me is actually a pretty big cube. They actually make them big enough where you can sit on them. And also, the one behind me, and also it's got this little, command control, so you can just go like change up. Pew! Look at the one next to me over my shoulder. You turn it red, and oh man, look at that balla! You can make it to the sound effects and all that. But of course, I have it to MVG green, and then of course the Ukraine colors behind me. So there you go. Man, everyone's like on the 2A thing, huh? Isn't that cool? Man, the Supreme Court came down and made New York butthurt. I'll just say that. I know it's not a Sergeant's Time topic. Yay for the 2A. Exactly. Well, yay for all of our rights. Freedom is the right of all. Freedom of speech, right to bear arms. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? However, again, that stuff, judicial stuff, will probably be discussed on Monday during the Monday edition. But this is Sergeant's Time, here to provide you non-commissioned officer professional development, and PME for active duty, guard, and reserve, and a DA civilian, and of course retirees, soldier for life, right? And veterans, of course. I'm not discarding the veterans, but I know that some of the fan base likes to watch the other shows because this is so heavy sergeanting and Sergeant's Time, and you got multicam stuff all over the place, and camo and sergeanting for sergeant, right, of excellence. It's great. It's good stuff. Anyway, so let's start it off, man. If you guys didn't know, first is a double whammy. A double whammy from USEREC. USEREC, man, it's dropping the messages, dropping the messaging. Already saying what we have. I don't know if it was a USEREC ploy or I don't know if it was an Army ploy. I like this thing as both, I guess. But it's pretty crazy. So I was joking around with some of my friends. I I'm talking, thanks, exactly, under the oak tree counseling. That's what I'm talking about, man. You're old school. Deron, I know that. General Powell used to say that, oak tree counseling. Where you'd sit down and mentor and have those discussions. He used to do oak tree counseling and working on his quarters on his old Volvo. But that's how General Powell was. But the state of mind is this first state we should really address that. Whoa, 3-day weekend. You all got them 3-day weekends? But anyways, so I was just joking around, of course. You know, I am a jokester. I like to I like to shoot the breeze and joke around and all that. The Army has changed AR 670-1 and has now made significant changes to policy when it comes to tattoo. So of course I want to know, what about the beards? We're never going to get the beards, right? It just seems like the beards is like nobody wants to talk about the beards. Who's this? I came across blah, 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 blah. I've tried to. Do you know? I've tried from your side. What is this? Who's that? You guys see Thomas Frank in the chat? Is he legit or is he a spammer? Just let me know and I'll, I can bam him. Thomas Frank. What is this? I'm here, new searching a friend of mine, blah, 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 blah. But it's not, do you mind trying on your side? I'll be happy. Yeah. That sounds like a scam there, Thomas. You trying to scam us? Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and just hide that comment. Pew. There we go. So anyways, AR 600-1 has changed now, and also the enlistment requirement. So here we go. In the year, I was making a joke about this, and I put AR 670-1 update. The year is 2040, and beards are still not authorized, even though you have straight all this stuff that's happening with the with AR 670-1. Now, of course, joking aside, Recruiter Times has been throwing some pretty prophetic tweets. If you guys don't follow Recruiter Times on Facebook, go ahead and follow them on Facebook and also on Twitter. I don't know if they have an IG. Do you guys at Recruiter Times, do you have Instagram? All right, hey, take it easy. They have updated the enlistment requirements for AR 670-1. They also have updated the entrance requirements to join the Army. And there's also a change in, confirmed. In Recruiter Times is on Instagram. Also have extended the RCP. I don't know where to start. So much Army news today. Army. This is awesome. I don't even know where to begin. You do have an IG page. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, just tracking. You never see a beard in the Army because it breaks skin tight seals for NPC masks and iPad. Man, dude, it's already been covered. It's already been disputed, Branko. It's already been that has been debunked. That has been debunked. There is no proof that masks would be hindered by the wear, especially with our new masks. With the wear of or having a beard, I should say. Jose, what's up, man? First POB is into the chat. So with this change, I think it's awesome, and I think there's a new there's a new tattoo policy that has come out, and that tattoo policy has now allowed you to have a tattoo on your neck and on your hands. However, there are some restrictions, so just don't run out there and start getting new tats and all that. Again, everyone's asking, what about the beards? So one visible tattoo on each hand, one tattoo in the back of the neck, and then one tattoo behind each ear. Man, what say you? What do you think about the chat? What do you think? Have we lost trust with the American people? What has happened in the news for the last 2 years? What about what? What are you talking about? Test it and post it on the page. No, Branko, it's been proven. Even NBC and chemical specialists have said. It's 1 inch in every direction. That's what she said. Whoa. Got to keep this clean because we have an interview coming up. So Army announced on Thursday via Morgan of the J1, or our illustrious, lovely Morgan, has posted on the Twitters. Go to Morgan in J1 on Twitter. Well, you'll get all your S1 needs. And the Army directive has come out, dated 22 June, that it announces a change of policy for the allowable placement of tattoos. Currently serving and applicants for enlistment or appointment. What do you think that means? Officer stuff, right? Yeah. Effective immediately. Leaders, right now. And I'm pretty sure your soldiers are going to freaking go nuts and start forwarding this. Right now, effective immediately, that one visible tattoo on each hand. I know right now Big Sarge is like freaking out because it's one, it's one per each hand. Go Swan, exactly that, Josiah. She's a badass, dude. Don't fuck with Swan. Don't fuck with Morgan and the J1, dude. She'll put you on. Don't let her find out. Don't let her see you in the chats. She does comb the chats once in a while. One tattoo in the back of the neck, not to exceed 1 inch in measurement on the hands. An unlimited number of tattoos between the fingers, as long as they are not visible when the fingers are closed. There we go. And one ring tattoo on each hand. I did see the Island Boys. I don't even want to imitate them because they're Island Boys. I don't know if it's going to get in trouble by saying Island Boys. I'm not going to make fun of them. They do that. If they pay money and they're doing a shout out in the military, it's a lot more than what others are doing. So one tattoo in the back of the neck, not to exceed 2 inches in measurement. Tattoos are still prohibited on the head and face. So inside the eyelids, mouth, or in ears. Previously documented tattoos on neck or hands for which soldiers have a tattoo violation memorandum remain authorized. One tattoo behind the ear, not to exceed 1 inch in measurement. Man, I can't wait for drill sergeants to start getting all this stuff. Prohibitions on type of tattoos will remain in effect. Obviously, nothing that has any extremism or sexist or whatever. But though my mind is wandering, type of thing. Soldiers may continue to submit religious accommodations that request waiver for using procedures like for face tattoos and stuff like that, because there are some tribes out there that have facial tattoos. So that's it on the tattoos, which will be brought up. Which actually, that topic will be brought up later in the show when we have our guests coming on. And then what else we got going on? Oh man, then dude, Recruiter Times. It's like Recruiter Times tweeted something out that was very, yeah. Recruiter Times just dropped dead right on it. And they had discussed the education requirements for soldiers joining the military. And it's drawn the ire of a lot of people who are already kind of like, hey, wait a minute, what's going on? Why is this happening? Yada yada. And that is now individuals may enlist without. Let me say that again, without. I want to sound like One Punch Dad. It will behoove you. It will behoove of you. Since Spanky's not here, I get to kind of make those jokes. Effective immediately. Individuals may enlist without a high school diploma or GED if they meet the following criteria. Regular Army only. Must meet MOS qualifications, which there are some MOS qualifications that are pretty freaking stringent. Must be 18 years old at the time of enlistment and must score a 50 or higher on the ASVAB, but must ship during FY 22. Now, of course, this has always been a discussion about the. We're not lowering standards. Well, we're not gonna allow individuals no high school diploma in there. Hey, look, there's some probably individuals out there that probably kick ass. Who knows? I'm just putting the stuff out. Recruiter Times is where I'm getting my information. They are the feedback and the soul. They're the backbone, I guess you would say, and they get the ground truth from the recruiting force. But again, FY22. Yes, cause 50. But wait, there's more. Exactly. We'll get to that. So, new tattoo policy, new entrance policy, but wait, there's more. Mira, you get a 50 on your ASVAB just for signing your ASVAP or ASVAP. Are you trying to say ASVAP there, David? ASVAP. So you can have no high school diploma and GED and have tattoos everywhere, but you can't come in with ADD or ADHD. And how does it make sense when you can be diagnosed while you're in and be fine? Thank you. There's something that Recruiter Times was talking about called inroads or something like that. Enlist now and receive a free 2021 Charger Hellcat. I don't know, that might be the case. Let me see if I can get this right here. Recruiter Times even said, hey, you know what? You need a minimum to join 30 to join the Army. MHS Genesis. Thank you, Recruiter Times. Recruiter Times is in the chat. Obviously, get all your recruiting stories and needs from Recruiter Times. But Recruiter Times joking around and everyone kind of hard about it. They said, watch them increase the RCP. Well, guess what happened? Wait, like you guys said, wait, there's more. Look, it sings. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. The RCP has been increased. Man, look at that. The memes are on IG. I know, I saw that. The RCP, the retention control points. Everyone's like, oh, yeah. Just let me see what it looks like. Let me see the graphics. Let me see what it looks like. Private to private first class, 7 years. Corporal specialist, 12 years. Sergeant, to include promotable, 16 years. Staff sergeant, 22 years. Sergeant first class, 26 years. First sergeant, master sergeant, 28 years. Man. Look at that. That is, whoo. That is some change there. I don't know what to say. I don't know. The last time, Recruiter Times once again calling it again. Didn't we go somewhere? These are like surge numbers. These are like surge numbers. Back when we were we went to the the sandbox. We went to Operation Iraqi Freedom and Infinity War, and then it became all these new names. So that's kind of the man. Sarge, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know what, Duran, you're correct, and Baconator, the same thing. There used to be specialists like that. There used to be soldiers like that would be, that would have, I think it was like 12 years for promotable specialists. It's like you can go 8, and then if you were like promotable, you can go 12 or something like that. So again, that's some changes, spicy right there. That is some changes there that I didn't expect to see to come back. But then again, ever seen anybody in the Guard or the Reserve and they're like been in there forever? Not the active Guard Reserve. They've been in, like, you got like 40-year-old specialists. If you enlist right now, you also get a free set of Ginsu knives. Oh, let me see. Michelle's got a comment in there. How about when I became pregnant while in and became a single parent and had this perfect family care plan? Well, because my care plan wasn't the one who donated sperm, my company commander, family care planned me out, and he was pro daddy as I wasn't pro my baby daddy. Wow. Ooh, that's spicy. That's a good point. if we're introducing all these policies to extend individuals to stay in, we're also introducing policies for everybody to get the new tattoos while we're in and for recessions. You would think they would change the family care plan regulation. That's the, well, I think they did a little bit, but I think that's the biggest. That and the married army couples program. Those are kind of like whatever. Come join the army for a $50K bonus, and you can still join OnlyFans when you waste your bonus on that new Camaro. That's crazy. It's spicy, but I think there's a miss in in recruiting and retention goals, and a revised in the last tattoo policy, by the way, everyone's talking about was revised in 2015. We all know back in the day about the policy of the no sleeves. And right now, I'm pretty sure former Sergeant Major of the Army Chandler is probably outside touching grass, freaking out, holding himself, shaking back and forth. You guys, hey, keep your taglines going. It's called Congress Doesn't Listen to the Ground Force. I don't know what that is, man. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. If we're not reading, everyone has their reasons why. Why are we having a lowered standard? And it is a lower standard. It used to be you had to be a high school graduate, and then you could come in, and that's it. Or if you did have a GED, you had to have had a GED with a specific high score or a specific score to come in. I mean, so many news, right? So many Army news coming out in the last 72 hours. It's kind of, hey, are you what's going on? The last time we had this was, what's next? Stop loss? Are recruiters stop loss, by the way? Curious. Are recruiters have their did they have their tours of duty extended to include the what do they call them, the dassers, or is that one? Recruiter Times, help me out. What'd you call them? You call them dassers or something like that? DA select recruiters or something like that. We need to be careful at lowering standards. At what point does it become too much? I don't know. See, here's the thing. And this is just me. This is me talking specifically my opinion. I'm not getting this from any guidance. I'm not getting this from any talking point or whatever. Okay, cool. That Recruiter Times, thank you for responding. Some of them have already been stop lost. So my thing is that, and I'm going to be careful how I say this, but of course people are going to, all around social media are going to misconstrue what I'm going to say. There is some issues that we've had in service, about lowering the standards that we should have not have had, that those problems have been exacerbated by their service because there's reasons why they didn't come in. Does that make sense? So it's like individuals who might have not been allowed to join, and they've had issues. I know there's medication issues and stuff like that. I'm not talking about, I kind of like the ADHD, ADD stuff. I know some very productive NCOs and soldiers that were very, very freaking, they were great soldiers. But I also know there's individuals that have conditions to where they should not have come in, and being in the service made it worse. It became it's not really, I don't want to say burden, but it became more of an issue for the individual, and having, failure to adapt, I guess you would say. David said that kids make more on TikTok is why they're not joining the military. Yeah, but you got to have talent. Recruiter Times is throwing out another prediction. A better involuntary conversion is coming too. Mandatory conscription incoming is what Pookie's saying. Duran is saying that the APFT got demolished. When the APFT got demolished, the BS was coming. So it's like Harambe. The APFT was the Army's Harambe, And that's what started the downward spiral of the Army world, military life. You can become that effective professional who does their job and is proficient in basic soldiering skills, and you can't go wrong. If, Chris, that's the big question. If you could become. But I think there's a lot of reasons why keeping soldiers in, because IG complaining, people posting stuff on Twitter, social media on why I'm getting processed out of the Army for failure to adapt, and then immediately those issues come up. Bacon Hitter says, loss of faith in America for a lot of the youngins. Man, I'll tell you what, it's hard out there. Competing interests with different, with what's going on in the world right now. I will say that captains are now the new majors. You know how we always like to bust balls on majors, how we like to joke around saying majors are worthless or whatever. That's the ongoing joke. But captains are now being the new thing. Have you seen the screenshots that we're posting? Those are captains at work. Captains in action. Those are your captains out there that are, posting these crazy screenshots that actually has something to do with our interview with texting. I can't wait. You guys are going to love it. The second thing is that I was talking about the issues of soldiers coming in, and maybe we should have done it. I think it also, there's leaders out there that are not behavioral health specialists that like to, just like the same leaders that thought that they were epidemiologists, or the same ones that thought that they were virologists, or physical therapists. They don't know how to deal with soldiers that are coming in with issues like that if they're already pre-diagnosed or whatever. It's shaky ground, because people are going to say, oh, well, so basically you're saying people with behavioral health should be coming in. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there's specific reasons why the Army doesn't have individuals that are taking specific medications, especially in the duties that they want to conduct. A pilot, hazardous to military freefall. It's never mind that Tradoc has a talk at USREC HQ. Ooh, man. Shoot, my captains did all the work. Well, you're seeing it on the screen there, Chris. The captains are posting a lot of screenshots. But how does it differ when someone who's already in? You got to remember, this is not the first time we've done this. This is not the first time we've lowered the standards. This is not the first time we've whatever. That's what everyone's getting pissed off. Is that they're putting people out or not letting people in for the medication that they took when they were 2 years old. That was probably nothing. I honestly think that some of it's probably nothing. The specific medication, especially when it comes to commissioning. You can't take specific medicines, or you can't have undergone specific treatment. Ask any pilot who's gone and see behavioral health and see if they're still on flight status right now. As a matter of fact, we had a guest who was a pilot of the 160th back in the day. He's no longer in, so he can talk about it. Yeah. PTSD and all that. He was a pilot with a 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment. And seeing behavioral health killed his career. I mean, he had also really the reasons why he went up, but one of the contributing factors. No, there's a stigma involved. In 05, you're right, Pookie. You are 100% correct. Specific categories of convicted felons were let in. Not too many people know about that. Some. All this stuff that's like urban legend shit and all that. It happened. They started lowering the standards right before you got out. Is that what you're saying? Your version of saying that was when I was in the Army, it was hard, Chris? I'm just messing with you. You're good. You're a good chatter in the chats. And that was exactly that during the GWOT, the global war on terrorism. What's crazy is that Spanky put a comment on somebody's page, and somebody was so young that they didn't know what the GWOT was. I'll be talking about feeling old. I could imagine some kid in there telling you, "What's the GWOT?" It had to be explained what the GWAT was, or what OEF or what OIF was. That's how old. Duran says that the Army's biggest mistake is forcing out the last of the old schoolers with all that knowledge and experience in one file. Oh, you ain't lying, Duran. Oh, hell yeah. Especially ones that were beat up and battered from their deployments that were medically forced out, I think would have been awesome recruiters. Everyone says like, oh, well, no, that's a negative thing. It's that serving that disabled veterans or wounded veterans will tell you that they miss about the military. It's that purpose of serving. I would have loved to have seen some of my bros who've lost limbs while deployed, and they had to get processed out for a medical board. And I know for a fact they would have been badass recruiters. They just wanted to stay in and serve. They wanted to tell their story. What better place than a veteran who's been wounded that can no longer be down on the line, and don't even send them to freaking, we talked about this before. No going to school. Don't go to the ARC or something like that. Nah, don't do that. Congratulations. Yeah, we know. Hey, we heard you're going to get med boarded, but how about this? And offer them a recruiting position in anywhere they want to go serve to. I guarantee it, the results will be incredible. Where you're not being, I don't want to say poisoned, or you're not being influenced, or yada yada. That real world experience that a combat vet has, or just, it doesn't have to be an individual who still wants to serve, to be your recruiter. Y'all remember that movie, Starship Troopers? When the guy's like, the mobile infantry made me the man I am today. And he turns around, he's got like no legs, and he's got a fake arm and all that. There's a lot of people who really get into the extreme details saying, you're going to have a soldier look at you, you're going to have a prospective recruit see you, blah, 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 blah. I guarantee it, some of these kids right here will look up to that individual probably more than those who didn't deploy that like to tweet their lives away on complaining about whatever or post it on Instagram. They want to see the soldier experience. They want to hear the soldier experience. They want to know the soldier experience. Now, of course, if that recruiter, that combat veteran or disabled veteran or wounded veteran experience is obviously demeaning to the Army and disrespecting the Army, then yeah, I can see that. Davis, wow, did a brief on homegrown terrorists. Most of the troops in now don't even know who Timothy McVeigh is. Wow. Whew. Holly, you got a good memory. I did say that a couple years ago. I did say that when it was the up and out. If you don't serve, Sergeant Major of the Army Daily said, if you don't serve a specific amount of time on the line, or you've been on a non-deployable status too long, get out. And I took that personally. I think, like I said, you've been in jobs or something. It doesn't even have to be combat, man. Think about it. There's guys out there on the line that get injured or get hurt or something like that, and they get injured and they can't do their jobs anymore. Make them recruiters. Let them wait out their time to retirement. That way they can tell the Army story that way. Patrick says he keeps the horrific times to myself. Yeah, I hear you, man. There's some things that, yeah, would probably, but the camaraderie. And I say but, of course, like, nah. But I say but because there's that camaraderie. Do I miss it since I've been out? Hell yeah. Hell, I just walked into the recruiting station and I felt like, hanging out with Joe. Hanging out smoke pit. I mean, they knew who I was as soon as I walked in. Hi, I'm Ice from U.S. Army WTF Moments at WTF Nation Radio. And they were like, oh, yeah, we know. When you called, we were told to kick you out. No, just kidding. Wasn't that bad. But telling exactly that, Patrick, that brotherhood, that sisterhood, the fraternity. I think there's individuals right now that would love to have stayed in if they got to go to 20 and they got to do, even that. Even the Army has said specifically within all their media that Soldiers for Life should be doing that. Well, post up. Think about having a bunch of Soldiers for Life, some retired combat veterans sitting there and telling the Joes what's going on. Have you been to war? I mean, think about it right now. There's soldiers showing up. All the individuals that I spoke to were, I think, were deployed or recently deployed or all that. So it wasn't bad. It wasn't too bad. But there are recruiters out there that are not deployed. How can you as a recruit, or how can you as a recruiter tell that's the Army story from that end? Oh, here's what's going to happen with this. Here's going to be happening with that. But yeah, I know some guys from Recruiter Times. I know they pull their duty and they tell their story. Phew. You're sitting there on the recruiting office and tell you what happened with this or tell you what happened with that. And then, it's pretty cool. You'd only been in the Army for a year when Timothy McVeigh was executed. Yeah. Recruiters should be retirees with combat patches. Oh, preach. 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 Imagine having duty. Have like additional recruiter pay. Like for instance, you're retired and disabled, so you already collect some of that pay already. But imagine joining the retired Soldier for Life program where you get like a different pay. You get an additional pay kick in for whatever because you're at your home house. So wherever you're retired at, wherever you consider your home, your final home, that's where you recruit at. Me, I would be raw. I mean, I would love to do it somewhere in the bunker complex in the mountains or in DC or something like that, or on the West Coast or East Coast or something like that, or along on the beaches of Florida or something like that. So that way you come out and say, "Hey, I'm here to write up myself for the Soldier for Life recruiter program." And you can just imagine how many retirees would come out of the woodwork to assist, just knowing some of the procedural stuff. Have like a recruiter minder to come be there with you, to kind of like be the civilian LNO and all that stuff. That'd be fun. Soldiers will get to hear the Army story from a retired person's point of view on how great the Army treated you after you got out and assisted you in the VA if you were med boarded out. The IDES system is actually a pretty good system now. Back in the day, it used to not be. Pookie said he'd be a horrible recruiter and he set the bar so high. Knowing you, Sarek, they'd mess it up. Recruiter Times, of course, got to get that jab in. 24 years and counting, my focus is growing the warrant officer ranks as I'm a CW4 and retention sucks as a whole. Yeah, man. A new recruiter model for the Soldier for Life recruiter program. We won't lie. That's exactly it. Exactly it. We should have a Soldier for Life recruiter program with a joint barbecue event or function or something like that with U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Radio. I'm already working with some local recruiters already to do something like that. So I like food trucks and stuff. So not all people that have that awesome view of how they are treated after getting out. Yeah, exactly that. Big time. I was telling somebody close to me that the Army that I retired from, it's not the Army now. That Army's gone. I would only have to use my experience and give that motivation. But that's why we have, U.S. Army WTF Months. And we have WTF Nation Radio. To make sure that leaders are in check on that stuff. Oh, man. Caveat to combat experience. We have the maturity to adapt our GWAT lessons learned from a current future fight. Some of us get too salty and think that teaching kids to refight the good plan. Patrick says that VSOs are good or bad. That's true. That's true. The VS, some good and some bad. Again, speaking to someone close to me, I was saying that my VA experience wasn't bad at all. I guess it would be a deterrent for a recruiter to say that I got treated better with the VA than I got treated with MilMed. With all the 3 Cletus you could drink, exactly that, Recruiter Times. 3 Cletus. William Wallace's 3 Cletus. Rest in peace, please. Rest in peace. Yeah, I am lucky. I'm humbled to consider myself lucky. Even when I finally retired and I did my final PCS out, they were bugging the hell out of me to ask me where I was at. And it just didn't. I don't know. I consider myself lucky. I always, in the inbox when there's any VA issues or something like that, I get tagged by the admins to sit down and walk the processes. Most of it too is that a lot of the issues that happen is that it's a patience thing. It's there's an issue that's been compounded and over another issue, and the veteran's told, hey, you need to fill this paperwork out, and then the issue has gone so far that just filling up paperwork out to a veteran just frustrates the fuck out of them. I miss the Army back. If you've seen a Sergeant First Class, there was a problem. Sergeant getting shit done. That's right. Rubber meets the road, man. The axe meets the stone where sparks fly. Brother-in-law's wanting to join the Army, but I really don't know what to tell him, knowing the bullshit that I've been through. Well, ask him. What does he want to do in the Army? Get other vets. GoArmySoft.com. Sorry. Go Army Soft. Go Army Soft. I like to say GoArmySoft.com because I thought, everyone's experience is different. Big bingo recruiter times. It would be just like any other job, right? You're going to have a boss. You have to be at a place for a certain amount of time. There's a dress code with where you work when you're a civilian, right? They don't want you being all raggedy, but you have to dress. If there's an appearance of grooming, then of course. That's a little bit. It's kind of like that. We're realizing that. I'm not realizing that, but you see that in other markets. Just don't be an 11 Bravo. I know some good 11 Bravos. I mean, just I know there's some guys that want to come in to get that 11 Bravo experience. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. So we're gonna take a break. We got to get things set up. I got to put the flag up. Yes, that's who my guest was. That's who my surprise guest was. And now that you have paid attention, my surprise guests, the command team of the 10th Mountain Division, which is awesome. I'm happy that they were able to come on board and shoot the breeze. And you will see the faces of Major General Milford Beagle and Command Sergeant Major Mario Torinas. You guys will see them talk, and we will shoot the breeze and talk and all that. And so make sure you guys tune in and refill your glasses. I'm gonna get some more ice for my bourbon here because I've been sipping it too good. I got some good bourbon, man. It's all my buddy Eric's fault when I did his There Will Be Bourbon podcast. If you need to check that out, he's the one that said, "Hey, I'm asking, hey, what's some good bourbon to get?" And I'm Duran says that I love them. I'm joking. They got me through PLDC. Oops, I told my age. PLDC, man, back when it was 30 days and it was in-house. You couldn't leave to go home, right? That's what I'm talking about. That was my PLDC. Man, if I told you when I went to PLDC, okay, I'll tell you. I reported to 3 Corps Non-Commissioned Officer Academy, PLDC, 11 November 1994. That's when I went to PLDC. Woo. So anyways, stay tuned. Let's take a break, and we'll be right back. So shots.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Take it from me, Ice. You can't just float around space not caring about stuff forever.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Shit in the bag, Pogue.
Nothing feels the same. Let it all be don't see nothing at all. And you can fight, you can hide that you're naked. If you bleed, you won't feel it, you won't see me at all. You can fight, you can hide that you're naked. If you bleed, you won't feel it, you won't see me at all. You can fight, you can hide that you're naked.
I am here determined to stop this future atrocity.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
All right, and we're back. So right now you're watching this video pre-recorded because now we got some new tech going on, and you know CQ, our chief of tech guy, is the one that's like really helping us out with advancement of tech for WTF Nation Radio. However, we have a previous guest that's coming on that's a fan favorite, and you guys already know who they are. And one of them is actually is Major General Milford Beagle, who was a guest before when he was the commander at Fort Jackson. And then we have CSM Mario Tarinas. God, I'm messing this up already. Tarinas already joining us. So everyone, let's get a good welcome in for the command team of the 10th Mountain Division. How you guys doing today?
Well, Mount 6, Mount 7 are doing great. We're on the mountain. It's not any snow on the ground right now, so we're a little bit sad. But the good thing is we got 8 months of like winter and like a couple of months of summer, so we'll be right back to winter before.
I was about to say you just literally got there, sir. I mean, it seems like you're about ready to take off.
Yeah. I mean, it was like a quick, I wouldn't call it a touch and go, but definitely wasn't expecting to get pulled out like so quick. I mean, it just hit like almost overnight, literally.
Well, for you guys that don't know, General Beagle was a guest when he was the commander at Fort Jackson. I think he had him and Sergeant Major Jeremiah Gann, who was the CSM on that installation. You got some more sparkle on your chest there, sir.
Yeah, just a little bit. So it was only one the whole time there, all 3 years at Jackson. Get here, I get the second one. So it's, Fort Drum is just as much home as Fort Jackson. So, just think about it. If they were to promote me here, I'd gotten promoted 3 times in one place.
Exactly.
1 star, 2 star here, and then 3.
CSM, where are you hailing from?
So I actually came out of Cadet Command, and I've been here for about almost 2.5 years now. So actually, about mid-month next month, I will be transitioning out. So my time is flown by. So 2.5 years at 10th Mountain. I'm, like most of us, habitual offender of the 10th Mountain Division. Started my career as a Sergeant Major here 12 years ago, and I'll end my career as a Sergeant Major here 12 years later. So pretty cool.
Awesome. All right, so what brings you guys here? Why are you guys? What's the deal? You guys had hey, I want to come on WTF Nation Radio, and PAO set it up. So what's going on?
Yeah, no, I literally did. And you know generally how I operate. You got to engage in the space where everybody is, right? You can't be afraid of it. And so I appreciate kind of getting my toe in the water last time, and it all went well. And as I was thinking, just about everything that's in social media now, so one area I hadn't circled back to is you in WTF, which I did appreciate. Based on the policy letter we put out, you kind of retweeted. It was retweeted out there, replayed. With pretty good traction. And I got a couple of interviews, so did Sergeant Major, to be able to further expand what we were talking about. But again, just one other area, and you know how it is. You got to touch them all just to make sure your voice is heard. I mean, everything matches, and keep going from there. Good, bad, and indifferent.
So what made you, and for the audience that doesn't know, the last previous posts and the last Sergeant's Time, me and Spanky talked about policy letter number 23. Sir, what made you want to even consider just writing it up? I mean, why reach into that cell phone space?
Yeah, so Sergeant Major and I'll double tap it, right? Because it was an up and out, down and in thing. I mean, and as everybody's talking about harmful activities, all that's coming down from the top. And just different approaches. I mean, we were reading books, we were bringing people in. So there's a great book called Rethinking Suicide, because a lot of it was focused on suicide. So we're really hitting that hard. But as you unpack it, there was so much other stuff, with ideations, you name it. And then as I'm kind of going up and out, and really it's like stressors, right? I mean, all these different stressors, and there's so many of them: relationship, financial, you name it. As Sergeant Major's going down and in, he's getting groups of soldiers talking to him. And then, he comes back, one day and we're in the office and he's talking about the stress of cell phones. And I'm like, I'm kind of getting that too from a different perspective, but you're getting it firsthand. And then we immediately started talking about, we got to put it like in a policy letter. But it took like almost 2.5, 3 months to just put pen to paper, because that's one of those, this is going to go all right or it's going to go all wrong. There is no middle ground sweet spot, and we took that time to really confirm, is this what you're telling us? And I'll let Sergeant Major tell you some of the stories before we launch, down that path. But Sergeant Major, pick it up from there.
Yeah, so one of the things we did as we were, into the realm of rethinking suicide, and we started looking around, and one of the things I did was grab groups of soldiers from across the entire division. And I broke it into groups of 10 at a time in kind of a non-attributional discussion about what were the stressors, what was the thoughts out there. And it was E1 through E4, E5s, E6s, and then E7 and up. And we went, like I said, I went down to even Fort Polk to talk to the 3rd Brigade folks. I did 2 sets of these things. And one of the common denominators, as we started to look at aggregates, was constant this thought that, I'm never off. And it's about chat groups and phone calls, getting a call at 11:30 at night. Hey, PT tomorrow at 6:30. No, duh. I mean, I mean, why are you calling? But the
right.
best story, and I think the CG loves this one, was one kid told me, hey, man, if I don't get a text, phone call, or multiple texts and phone calls on Sunday, I freak out. And I was like, okay, hold on a second. What you're losing me here. And he said, well, because I always get texts and phone calls and everything on Sunday. Like there's this stream of stuff coming at us on Sunday. So if I don't get something, I think I got voted off the island. I start freaking out.
Oh, wow.
I can't sleep.
Wow.
Yeah. One kid said that he just, he's got his phone next to him. And he can't sleep. Even if it doesn't go off, it goes off so often that he just freaks out that maybe his phone's off or something like that. So
Wow.
As we started looking at that was what drove me to really come and speak with the CG and say, hey, look, I think we are taking way too much time out of the soldiers' lives in this realm. That makes sense.
Yeah, and the other big link was, training management. Because, really, when you read the policy, it's getting us back to that. Because, as we get our climate surveys back, we do a lot of outreach, talk to folks, we get the feedback, but predictability was like the number one thing. And then op-tempo. Our op-tempo, it is what it is. We're a 10th Mountain Division, right? Most deployed division. Not a whole lot you can do about that. But the predictability really bothered me, and then linked back to the text, hearing what Sergeant Major was kind of getting from, the soldiers. I was getting a little bit of it myself. It was like, that was our problem with predictability. And I said to every leader, our problem with training management is we don't know how to do training management, but we don't know how to do training management. We're doing it by text.
Right, sir. I think what's funny, I wouldn't say what's funny, the irony, I should say, because it's a serious topic. The irony is that you, as a command team, identified the fact that you're connecting, I'm not always off, to behavioral health, which I've not seen any leaders do that yet. I've not seen any leaders post or say, hey, behavioral health, here's what I'm doing to implement it. It's to be commended that you guys decided to come together and do this. Is this a ban on cell phones? Is this what's it?
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely not a band. I mean, before we rolled it out, we just started asking questions again. Sergeant Major and I both just going around, different groups, different ranks, and immediately they thought, "Oh, you're gonna take our phones?" They're like, "No, that's not it." And that's what helped us kind of keep circling around to the words. Like, okay, we got to get these words right so they fully understand it's not a ban on cell phones.
I got the funniest one. So my daughter's in the military, and I knew we were starting to have a little bit of a problem when she texted me and goes, "Hey, you guys banning phones at Death Mountain Division?" I was like, I called her. I said, "No, I got my phone." So.
Well, we covered it pretty good during our last Sergeant's Time podcast about it. And one of the things that I love the fact that, and it's only because it's you, sir, we know this already, is that you're really empowering leaders to get back in the books, get back into training doctrine, and get back in the books. Was there? I mean, and you don't have to be specific, but was there any pushback? Was there any? Oh, come on, sir, CSN, what's going on? What was the feel from the organization?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you my perspective a little bit, and it was only from those that hadn't read it, right? You go around and ask questions after we put it out, and there was those that heard about it but didn't read it. So now somebody's translating it for them. Like, look,
right.
you got to read the thing yourself.
Right.
And go from there. And I think there was one captain, came up, at least we think he's a captain. It was like, oh, this is all crap. This is all BS. What are we doing? And we didn't have to really launch back. I'm not going to push back on that because it'll just take a little bit of time. It's like, look at what we're trying to do. It's pretty simple. It's not rocket science.
Right.
And granted, that's what you should be doing. You should not be sending a text telling somebody what time something is, tomorrow, and you're doing it at, 11 o'clock at night just because that epiphany jumped in your head. That's for a training meeting or formation at some point, You just got to communicate.
I think from us, from the NCO side of the house in the division, really, I haven't had really a lot of folks come up to me and give me any kind of pushback or say, as a matter of fact, I would say about 90% positive coming back and telling me this just makes sense. Just makes sense. I mean, at the end of the day, you look at it, all writings, memos, policy letter, it just makes sense. Because my point of view is this: we've given leaders, honestly, in a way, a blank check with soldiers' time. And it goes back to what the CG said, because we're not doing training management, we're not planning ahead, and we have this easy tool that can make up for my deficiencies at 11 o'clock at night. And if you think about it, if I'm in the civilian world or in the private sector, if I take time from an employee, I'm going to have to pay him.
Right.
And then I'm held accountable for that money that I'm spending to pay that individual.
Right. I love the way. Awesome comparison. Because
we don't.
Right.
You just say you got a blank check here. You go crazy.
Yeah. We've been. I mean, we've actually stopped posting screenshot madness that we get, because we like to post screenshot madness in the podcast, and it's exactly what getting away from what your intent is for the policy. But usually we're like, is this guy 10th Mountain? That's the first thing we ask, because we've gotten. We get because ever since that policy came out, we've had the same questions too in the inbox. We're like, is this a ban on cell phones? This is really doing this. Do you really think they can get away with this policy? And I'm just giving you just some of the raw data from this, but a lot of it is now our admins in the WTF Nation inbox will go, what unit you with? And the first thing if they say 10th Mountain, we say you need to look at policy letter number 23, and to the point to where I mean, come on, I'm already out, sir, and I know the policy letter myself because I keep repeating myself. And I'm like, guys, and it's the same thing like you were saying. It's just common sense, Sergeant Major. It's like this is something that I think the soldiers, and again, the connection to what you just said about, especially with both of you guys on the same. It's not really a message, but it makes common sense on the behavioral health side that we just don't mess with the Joes, man. It's some of them are some, and you've seen us tweet it out. Some of them are some doozies. Has anybody from DA has the 18th Airborne Corps? What have they said about that?
No, they agree with it. They like it. I mean, but to go above that, the chief of staff of the Army, he sends out chief of staff sends, and the SMA does it. He sent it out, and at the bottom of it, I almost fell out of my chair. I'm reading, in the chief's sin, he's talking about, predictability, suicide, harmful activities, behaviors, kind of thing. At the very bottom of his last paragraph, he's like, hey, you guys should take a look, like what Tooth Mountain is doing, in a couple of areas, which typically you don't do. I mean, that's something that chief doesn't do.
Right.
And had a couple of days conference down there, and he brought it up, again. But it's not a pope, because the other divisions, the Sergeant Major will tell you, a lot of his peers, other divisions, are like, hey man, can we get a copy of that?
Right.
And so somebody just had to step out first. Because, I mean, like I said in the beginning, this is going to go all right or it's going to go all wrong.
Correct. No,
and we're just willing to take that risk. I wouldn't call it a gamble, but just take a risk. Because once it's out, it's out. Just,
right.
Back in the box.
Well, well, not to mention the fact, sir, that we are all the admins have that policy letter handy, so that way when individuals in the struggle bus, like I said earlier, before we came on the mic, we could kind of like, here you go. What's the wording of policy letter? Here's a copy of it, or then you could look at our Sergeant's Time podcast and all that. It's again, what's the now? Okay, we talk about the leaders, we talk about the NCOs. What are the soldiers saying?
I'll let Sergeant take first.
So walking around, we have a facility called Clark Hall yesterday. I was just walking through to take care of some stuff up there. That's our in-processing new soldiers and outgoing soldiers. I got stopped no less than about 4 times by soldiers, just regular soldiers who see me and say, hey, phone, a cell phone, that's awesome. So it's positive. And then, we posted on social media. I think we had about 32,000, almost 33,000 looks and views, and about close to 100 comments, and the majority of them, again, which is kind of the population we reached with that platform,
right?
Coming back, and they were probably 98% positive, and the 2 that were not positive were misguided.
Yeah. I had a soldier hit me up in the elevator in D.C. He wasn't a 10th Mountain soldier, but we get in the elevator. It's kind of awkward. He knew who I was. I didn't know who he was. Both, civilian clothes. He looks at me and he's like, hey, sir, I think that policy is pretty cool. I'm gonna implement it starting at my level. And I can just tell he was ready to go because he said, bottom up. But I mean, he got it.
Right,
and,
right.
I thanked him and said, hey, man, good on you. Appreciate it. But I think not just here, other places, when they really get it, Sergeant Major said, it is. It's just common sense. Just apply common sense, go from there. And again, it's not, and we did it during our warfighter. So guess what? But that 2 weeks, everybody's cell phone was like at the gate. And it was part of timing too.
Right,
so
right.
You complain, you're like, hey, check it out. You've been in here for like 2 weeks, 12, 16 hours a day, and you didn't have your cell phone on because you can't.
Right.
And what have you been doing? You've been communicating like point to point.
Exactly, exactly. It's almost
what I found out too? It's liberating.
Oh, it is, sir. LCSM, I know. In the line of work that I do, I know sometimes I would like to have my phone off too. I mean, it's like, holy crap, you get, whew. It is a constant. Hey, why are you ignoring me? I'm not ignoring you. It's just you're one of thousands that we contact and we're in touch with, and that's that brings up a good point. It brings back stubby pencil leadership. It brings, I mean, almost. And I don't want to sound too old school, like back in my day. It almost brings back easel leadership. You know what I mean? It almost brings back, that type of face-to-face engagement that the soldiers need from their NCOs and actually their commanders too.
Yeah, you got to have a formation. Think about that. It brings back formations. It's like novel idea, right? I mean, so again, that's been part of the Army since 1775. So you're not going back old school,
right?
Because before you don't need a formation. I mean, I just group chat and then. Right. Everybody, formation, everybody's got it. So now,
I said stubby pencil, not musket. Okay. No, you're right, sir. It actually is, and also a lot of the information that's done in a formation. It also will help the young leaders learn how to cut down on their big grandiose soapboxes and caveating off what the commander said, like we see in all the memes. It also cuts that down. Is that speaking of which. What have your command teams have said now? I mean, we've talked to juniors, we've talked to NCOs. What are your command teams? Are they? I mean, I don't want to say adhering to it. Are they? Is it working out for them?
Yeah, for me, I would say 2 levels. They're good because I mean we talk it between sergeant major and I, brigade level, battalion level. they get it. Well, we got to do it again because we're having a lot of change, over the summer.
Right.
I think at the company level, company first sergeant, that's where we're gonna have to put in a lot of work. Because once anything gets down to that level, and it's not that they're not smart, they don't get it. They're at the point of contact. So there's a lot going on, and we just got to make sure they truly understand what this is going to do at that level, because everything's a 5-meter target.
Right.
Now
Exactly.
that I understand it, Sergeant Major understands it. Sometimes they think we don't. It's like we never served at that level, from their perspective. But I commanded 3 companies, Sergeant Major 2, as a first sergeant. But that's where we're going to have a little bit of the rub, and that's where we saw some of the pushback, because now it's almost like we took some control back from them, which that is not the case. So we got to keep working that.
Now, from the horse's mouth, from you two, from the mountain's mouth, I guess you'd say, from the mouth of the mountain, whatever lingo or buzzword you want to use. How do I say this? Can you be a little bit more specific on the exceptions of the policy? Like, okay, you're not banning cell phones. You're wanting the leaders to get back and doing mission planning and training management, but you're also not totally limiting its use for certain types of information. Can you be a little specific on that?
Yeah. If I were to walk you through a day in the life, right, and say, for example, I'm your first line leader. We get to PT, we do PT. Thought comes up, hey, I'm going to do a cookout, tonight. I can text you that. That's fine.
Okay.
If you're in the mold pool and then your phone's with you, that's okay. If you have a break, you're not working.
Right.
Yeah, you can check Twitter, do whatever, that kind of thing, and then go back to work. Or your wife is pregnant, as an example, or somebody in the family's got an emergency. Yeah, keep that phone on. It buzzes. You're checking it. Nobody's going to go, hey, you can't, check your phone, that kind of thing.
Okay.
But the thing you're not going to do, during the day is I'm not going to send you, work-related stuff in terms of, hey, tomorrow we're doing X, Y, and Z. Now, you should tell me that. And oh, by the way, I'm not going to do that after work either. So everything during the day, and we talk about meetings, don't bring your phone in the meeting, because again, it's another point where, depending on the level of meeting, if you're in there with your phone, you get all the information, you hear what's going to happen next week. What's the easy button? Oh, I just texted everybody in the group, go, hey, here's what I got out of the training meeting.
Right.
And they're good. Like, no, go back, do your thing, training management, schedule, calendar, whatever you need to do. Don't just hit the easy button, put it out. That's why, we're saying don't do it in the meeting. One, it's a distractor. You may miss something, and then that may be your easy button to preclude you from having to do a formation or put it out, properly.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing too that, sort of outside the question you just asked too, but what this is forcing, because we were talking about formations, what I've seen inside the force is, and especially over the last COVID years and all this other stuff, is there's this lack of face-to-face. And there's when you have that face-to-face contact, sometimes you can see something that's not right. So I think starting to get away from this cell phone piece, that it's easy to text, to contact, it's easy to have a formation by virtual means, but having that face-to-face, this is really one of the biggest points as well of the policy.
Yeah. Yeah, and it doesn't prevent either, hey, if I want to check on you after work, I watched you leave formation. You didn't look, in a good spot. Hey, 1900, hey, man, you good? You all right? I mean, that's not work. I'm not putting anything more on your plate. I'm just checking on you. That's totally fine. But if we'd explained, like, all those eaches, that thing would have been, like, 100 pages thick.
Right,
and
right.
We got to keep talking so they really get it. It's like,
right.
That to me is like life, safety, health kind of related, because I can check on you. I can, hey, happy birthday,
right.
That kind of stuff is totally fine. But, just don't do the work thing. Don't, put something out there that you could have did while you were there. I saw you face to face during the duty day.
It's a good idea, Barry, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well,
I call it while shaving.
Right.
You get up and shave in the morning like a million thoughts. And as soon as you get to work, you just want to throw that out to like the first person that just pops in front of your face. Well, that's what happens with text. I get all these thoughts while shaving and whatever, and I'm getting them off my plate. I'm just throwing them out.
I think also, and this is some of the feedback that we got from the audience when we were talking about this, is that the audience appreciates that interaction with the human factor, with the fact that, hey, are you in a good spot? Are you good? They say that from what we're getting from the audience feedback is that it's bringing back that empathy that you can't grab from a text. Hey, you good? And then immediately a young troop is going to go, well, what does he mean? Or what does she mean? Does it mean, how am I good? What am I good with what? Am I good with did I make my payments? Did I make formation? Did he catch me with my haircut? Oh, well, what am I good with? You know what I mean? And it gets that stress level of the troop. I mean, it again, is commendable. I did have another feedback is how you were talking about, sir, about, shaving and all that stuff. Is this, and this is a niche because somebody asked me to talk about it. Is this also precluding you to like taking notes on a phone? Because we are kind of in that tech environment, and some commands allow note taking on a phone.
Yeah. I think at different levels. That's where, again, back to whoever's the senior in the room, company commander, battalion commander. If I know, Serena's, he consistently always takes notes on his phone, and I see him in the meeting with his phone. Okay, he's taking notes. He's not
right.
That's what he's done prior to this.
Okay.
But all of a sudden now, Beagle comes in. I've never seen you take notes, and you're there under the table, just kind of going at it.
Right.
Hey,
right.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Right.
Right. But that should be something that we can explain because everybody else should know it. And in these phone groups, right, where you're having, when I meet with all, we meet with brigade commanders, sergeant majors, we know everybody in that room. So again, we got to know who has certain habits, tendencies, etc. Right, and then that discussion is had there, and then it just got to continue at different echelons. It's like, Beagle never comes in and like take notes on his phone. Teresa does it all the time. Everybody in the room knows that.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm wrong as a leader when I correct you because you all know the deal.
Right.
You never do it. Start it. Okay. Be consistent at it.
Right. Okay.
We'll see. I'll give you that one.
Okay. That's fair.
But at the lower level, it would take us, I think, 9 months to go around and have these conversations point to point, right? But when we do, it's exactly what we're saying. And then you see like the light switch. Oh, okay.
Right.
I mean,
yeah. Because
using that to keep going across the division.
Right. Exactly. Well, with that too, is the audience will be kind of satisfied because there are some techie people. I mean, I got them on the staff that live by tech, and you see them scribing, and I've never seen thumbs move so fast during meetings. I'm like, wow, okay, let's go over the notes. And then they like are literal, and some of them are recorded. Some of them even got video of me doing some stuff. I'm like, God, dude, you're really into the tech. So there are individuals that are really, especially, and I'll say it, the nerdy types will go, this guy's trying to stop me from doing my job. Some S6 or something like that. And I'm not saying
my inner voice is giggling a little bit because I've seen those guys write and gals write NCOERs. It would probably help them out to write some stuff in pen a little bit. I understand you're awesome.
Well, before the policy, I caught somebody doing it. I was doing a briefing somewhere, I forget. And I'm watching, and it was bugging me because the person was there with their phone. I'm like, well, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. They're taking notes. But it's with the thumb, right? I mean, the thumb is just swiping like crazy. I mean, go up and down, left and right. And I was like, hey, is what I'm saying to you like mildly interesting? You don't want to hear it, or like what? Well, sir, I'm taking notes. I'm like, what's your thumb? Really? One thumb. You're taking notes because I'm watching your thumb go up and down, left and right, and that ain't. I mean, I've never seen it possible, But I called him out on it because it's like, dude, come on, you can't tell me you're taking notes because stuff like that,
Roger that.
That's what everybody's got to. It's self-policing because somebody asked me, well, how are you going to enforce it? It's non-punitive. Right? It's just self-policing. So if everybody does the right thing, then okay, it'll work. It'll enforce itself. It's kind of like picking up trash. I mean, you see somebody not get out of the vehicle for retreat or reveille, something like that. So if you stop, everybody else stops.
Right.
But everybody's got to do it.
Right. Roger that. Sergeant Major, I know we talked about this before, but the 10th Mountain isn't immune to social media. And recently you posted out a video about some of your training techniques. Can you go in a little bit about that?
Is this the shoot house video?
Roger that, CSM.
Hey, here's the thing. I saw the video and everybody started telling me, hey, look, this is all over and it's training, we got to respond and all this other stuff. And I thought, okay, first and foremost, is it us? So we dug that on. It was us. So then it was about being honest. Hey, we did something that's not the standard of what we're supposed to do, and we're going to fix it. And rather than go onto social media and come up with all sorts of excuses and lack of transparency, things that is not us whatsoever, is just come up and say, hey, we screwed up. We're going to fix it, and thanks for bringing it to our attention. And honestly, that's what it's about. It's just about being able to see ourselves in the mirror have an honest assessment of what we're doing, and if we're not there, then let's go fix it. And honestly, you got a huge amount of feedback back, because I think what we see and is lacking out there is sometimes folks coming up on the net and saying, yeah, hey, look, we're screwed up here and we're going to fix it. That was it. Simple message.
And you actually got better feedback with your response, CSM, when you came on the net and said, hey, this is what's happening. I'm aware of the video, and here's what we're doing to fix it. And if anything else, that actually reinforced the I don't want to say it's like an image, but that reinforced your leadership attention to it, and you know, hey, we're gonna, like you said, I think that caused a lot better I would say of positive feedback than anything else, because had you gone silent, people would have been like, oh man, the CSM's not even saying anything. Right. And literally that video trended for, I would say, not even 72 hours, and bam, you were out. You were, hey, yeah, we saw it, and this is what we need to. I mean, I was like, whoa, okay, that's what I'm talking about.
We got to pay attention. On a side note, too, Fort Drum does have power drinks. Just wanted to throw that out there, because that was another one.
The power, you know, I mean, it's kind of cool to have the command team of the 10th Mountain here to shoot the breeze. And you guys, as again, this is a pre-recorded video, you guys can drop questions in there, and the PAOs of all the units, every time we have a senior leader engagement like this, they're always writing notes down and stuff like that. So don't be a troll. Ask some legit question, throw it in there, and I'm pretty sure the PAO will grab it and start fielding some questions, and then who knows, you guys. I mean, you guys keep coming back. You guys want a job? I mean,
we just want it, you know, just be open, transparent. You know.
I was going to say, no, sir, after 1800, we can't use it.
Exactly. No, you're right. Yeah, because like I said, the audience is.
I got to get poked on that in one of my peers the other day. He was like, hey, I was going to call you. He was like, oh, but I can't have my phone after 1800. I'm like, no, okay. Fine, man.
Well, yeah, exactly. Is it going to be, I mean, both of you are like you said, your time is about completed there at the 10th Mountain. Are you, what's your guys', I mean, for the future, sir? You got some good news. I mean, you recently got some pretty positive news about where you're going to next. Can you tell the audience where you're going?
Yeah, I'm going to Leavenworth, but it's not the long course. Because you can go to Leavenworth for two reasons. The long course, which is the disciplinary barracks, is not that one. I'll go for the short course, but to command the Combined Arms Center, which is, you know, exciting, because I mean you get to touch a lot of leaders there coming through pre-command course, battalion, brigade level, all the field grades, you know, for the most part, at least half of them, you know, come through there, and then you touch, you know, everything else with regard to warfighting, you know, at the division level and up. So I mean, it's huge, and it won't be all me. I mean, another big, you know, great, awesome, you know, team,
of course,
out there. And you know, you just get to touch a much larger part of the Army. I mean, touching this part is great. Touching, you know, a division is like absolutely awesome, especially this one. But, you know, again, great opportunity, privilege to have it, just to be able to, you know, kind of touch. I've got to do a lot of learning, you know, as well before I get there. You never stop learning, but just being able to, you know, hear feedback now from across like the force, because it's floating through there like every week.
So is the Combined Arms Center going to get a policy letter number 23 too?
Maybe we'll see. Somebody asked me that out there already, but it does. It depends on the environment. I mean, that environment, you got a lot more civilians. You got a mature audience, you know, kind of things. It may be something else,
right?
But it's like, figure out, okay, do you need it? What do you really need, right?
Right.
But we knew that was like a problem we needed to solve. It's not something, you know, we're going to wring our hands about. It's like we knew we needed to solve that one. It took a minute to like figure out how and the approach, but you know, we'll see what problems, you know, they have out there. Hopefully not many.
CSM, what's your next endeavor after your tour of duty at the 10th Mountain?
So yeah, I'll be transitioning out of the military. So 32 years, some long discussions with the spouse, and we said, hey, it's time to go to our next chapter of our lives. So tentatively right now, moving out to DC for employment there. So we'll see what comes, but pretty excited about it. it'll be interesting to see. So maybe I'll become. I mean, I'm already verified in a social media sensation, so maybe I'll capitalize.
Well, when the WTF Nation has apps coming out, you can put one in, and
Right.
we've. I think everybody in the WTF Nation already has progressed up to the rank of CSM or lieutenant. We need another fresh look. That's awesome. So with that, sir, you got any big events happening on the 10th Mountain that you want to put out, so that way we can get it out to the audience?
Yeah, well, August we have our Mountain Fest. So kind of like 82nd have All American Week, the 101st have Week of the Eagle. We have Mountain Fest, and it's very similar. A lot of sports. We get the community, open the gates, community come in. The thing that we're going to add to it, this year, and the CSA just told everybody to do it in August. We've got to do it. They call it Army engagement activities. So essentially linked to recruiting. So we're going to try to invite more people in, more, the high school age, even, junior high age, and then the influencers, just to get them to see like what the Army's really about. I mean, one, we got to meet them where they're at, but then I think the next best thing is to bring them where you are. I mean, they've got to really see it. So we'll combine those two together. And anybody that wants to come out. It's a great week. A lot of our Gold Star families come back. A lot of retirees, come back, and it's just a great week to be up here on the mountain.
There's a couple policies that have come out now, and we talked about it in the previous hour before you guys came on, the tattoo policy. And what's your take on the new Army tattoo policy, where we can have tattoos behind the ear and the neck and on the hand? What's your take on that?
I'm not, like Sir mentioned, I'm not chuckling inside, but I haven't fully read the policy, but we're going to bring a tattoo parlor on post. So,
awesome. Whoa.
Yeah. So, I mean.
Whoa. Okay.
The policy fits. I mean, it fits, but they did talk a little bit about it the last couple of days. And, some things, again, if it's not, I would say the wrong tattoo. We all kind of know the wrong tattoos to have.
Of course.
You don't want any of those, but again, it's just freedom of expression. Okay, all good. I mean, depends on where it is. Okay, it's not impacting you from going out and doing what our Army is designed to do. Right, protect our nation and defend our nation. That tattoo on your neck, as long as it doesn't prevent you from doing that, all good.
Awesome. All right, CSM, what you got? I see you looking back and forth.
I was just saying that the tattoo policy. Here's and I've been talking about this for quite a long time, because we went back and forth with the tattoo, the hands, the neck, the whole thing. And then back a few years ago, it was like, no, you can't have any kind of thing.
Right.
We always talk about how we are an adaptable and flexible Army. If we don't adapt to what we have now in the current population outside that we need to recruit and bring into our ranks, and if we're going to preclude folks from serving in the Army because of a tattoo, we're just shooting ourselves in the foot. So I could care less if they display the attributes and competencies and character necessary to serve in our military. I don't really care where your tattoo is at. That's me.
So when are you guys going to set up an appointment for your sleeve?
I'm a virgin. I'm a virgin canvas. So although my wife's telling me she wants me to get a tattoo, I just do it. I don't get one out of spite. I really won't.
Yeah, if they get it in time before I leave, I got to get the patch somewhere. So that'll be my first one too. But I got to get the patch somewhere. So somebody's got to be the guinea pig, right?
Exactly.
There's a new trend in 10th Mountain, by the way. You know how Rockasants, if you serve in the Rockasants, everybody's got the Tory?
Oh, yes, sir. Yeah.
The new trend here in 10th Mountain, people are starting to put Mountain Tough. I actually have a few soldiers already with Mountain Tough tattoos.
Wow, that's awesome.
That one.
Well, I mean, a lot of it. It's a lot of it is. There's nothing wrong with having unit pride, and a lot of individuals. I mean, I've been in since I've been in. The 10th Mountain just doesn't get enough due when it comes to what they do. I mean, it's like you said, sir. It's like the most deployed division that it's not airborne. You know what I mean? Everyone else talks about the 82nd and hang on, I'll make sure one of my airborne friends are looking around. The 82nd, brag, but no one really talks about the 10th Mountain. Is I don't know if you can answer this or not, but did you guys participate in the operations in Europe for for around the hostilities with Ukraine. Are you allowed to talk about that?
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, we did. Definitely can't talk to certain units, but we did. And then same with Afghanistan. I mean, with Kabul. I mean, our 10th Mountain Patch. If you rewind the tape all the way back, the first thing on Fox News was the 10th Mountain Patch because we were already there. Now, once 82nd comes in, I mean, they're part of our Corps. We love our Corps, and of course, it's going to take all the play. But that's why we consider ourselves blue collar division, right? We get a hard hat, a lunch pail, go to work.
Yep,
it's all good. You know, just mount tough. Just go roll your sleeves and go to work. I mean, not really looking at, who gets a pat on the back. And that's why I love it here. I think same with the Sergeant Major. It's just that attitude across the board, right? Nothing fancy. Just get in, get it done. And the last thing I'll say, though, which we're trying to change that, because when you think about 101st, 82nd, for the most part, with inside of our Corps, we pursued and we finally got it, what they call the echo identifier. So now we start sending soldiers to mountaineering schools, across the globe. Then the badge comes with it. So that's like the next step.
Whoa, okay,
so
awesome.
Now when you identify 82nd, they got airborne wings. 101st, air assault. 10th Mountain, you've got a mountaineering badge. I mean, something you can wear and see to connect it all together. But again, it's not about the badge. It's about that credibility of like, you're an expert in all things alpine, all things vertical descent, all things, Arctic, cold weather. You can show that just like you can show air assault, airborne.
CSM, is there something in play for the badge to be? This is the first I heard about a mountaineering badge.
So there is the thing is there is already a mountaineering badge that's used by Compo 2 and 3 approved for wear for those compos. So what we're looking at is now that we got the Aqua identifier to really start thinking of potentially a redesign of the badge so that like the CG said. If you're in 82nd, you got your airborne wings. 101st, you got your air assault wings. And if you're not afraid, I say that again, if you're not afraid, you come on over to 10th Mountain Division. We'll give you your mountaineering badge. Because we don't jump out of planes, we climb to the plane.
That's damn.
I'm scared of the cold.
Light spirit. I like that. Are you guys going to be eligible, or is your organization going to be eligible to have the Arctic tab too? Can you guys wear the Arctic tab as well?
No, so that one's reserved for 11th Division. And I don't because we have the mountain tab. That's our mark.
Right. Okay.
We have that mountain tab. I don't think anything else needs to go on top of that because that says it all. Connects back to our history. And
right.
Everything else, the badge, because that will play both ways, both for us and the 11th Division because they do advanced mountaineering, all that. And I talked to their CG quite a bit too. So it's a win-win across the board. So now our Army has two capable forces that can do vertical descent, Arctic conditions, all of that.
Are you going to allow the 11th Airborne Division to come out and hang out with you guys for your mountaineering school? Is this going to be a 10th Mountain run, for the ones that want to climb to the plane?
No, we'll share. We'll play nice. We'll share.
We'll play nice. Last question before we wrap it all up. Your association. You have the 10th Mountain Association that is, I think, almost as I would say they're just as good as the 82nd Airborne Division Association. You guys actually have that association has don't they have some sort of a historical background to somewhere in Colorado?
Yeah. So it connects back to the ski patrol,
right?
And that's the connection. So it is deep. You go to Colorado. There's several places elsewhere across the country where you'll see some monument or something dedicated to 10th Mountain because that's where it emanated from. Is all those skiers, hikers, outdoorsmen from World War II. When they came back, they started a lot of the ski slopes and everything else across the country, primarily in Colorado. But they're all over the place, now. And that's like the true essence of it. And our division, just kind of a quick trivia fact for you: the only time in our Army's history where we outsourced recruiting to a civilian organization. So everybody during that era was recruited through the ski patrol, not the Army.
Oh wow, that's awesome. That's because it was, I think, one of your heritage posts that you guys posted up, and it had the 10th Mountain emblem on the side of a Colorado mountain. I'm like, whoa, what is this? And all the 10th Mountain veterans, past, present, and it's a really good setup. I think what we'll do is we might want to have them come on too to Sergeant's Time to talk about it, because that's another hour and a half of historical. I didn't know about it until I saw again your posts. Well, that's awesome. CSM, you like skiing? You go out there and try to hit them slopes?
So I was a pretty big skier. I was more of a climber. I actually climbed Mount Rainier 3 times. But
oh, wow.
I just wanted to let you know about the National Ski Patrol and the tie-in with the folks. In order to come to this division when it was created in World War II, you had to have like 3 letters of reference to come to our division.
Oh, wow.
And that tie-in with the National Ski Patrol, and now we've reignited that connection with those folks. It's just amazing. And the majority of the slopes, the majority of the big ski resorts were started by veterans from the 10th Mountain Division upon their return back from World War II. So
that's incredible.
The founder, one of the founders of Nike, was 10th Mountain Division.
Oh, wow.
So
okay. My father served in one of the sister units, 114, 214, Golden Dragons. So yeah, and I also served with them in Iraq with 10th Special Forces Group. So I have sort of a little bit of a connection with the mountain a little bit. And also one of my teammates was a 10th Mountain company commander. So it's the mountains all around you. So
make sure we get an address. I'll send you something. Nobody, well, not many have this. So just an address. It'll be a surprise in your mailbox.
Wow, I appreciate it, gentlemen. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. And, again, you guys share, like, and follow 10th Mountain Division. Look at the 10th Mountain, Ski Patrol, research all that stuff. And, Sir CSM, thank you guys so much for hanging out.
I appreciate it. Enjoyed it. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to go ahead and take a break right quick. And, guys, again, if you guys are just tuning in right now, this was pre-recorded. This is a secret. So we'll be right back. And, everyone go refill your glasses and take a break, hit the latrine, and shots.
Awesome.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
And we're back. Wasn't that cool? Sitting here hanging out, sipping on my bourbon while you guys were listening in. I was in the chats too. Thank you guys so much for tuning into that. That was awesome. That was a great proof of concept thing that we did. Thinking about doing that with other guests, so that way any guest wants to come on, we can schedule a time to do that. So that way they can pull it off at nighttime at 2100 Eastern Standard Time. Then I guess we could do it. If not, hey, you just saw proof. Positive right now that we can do it here at the WTF Nation, and of course with our military friends and partners. Thank you so much, 10th Mountain, for hanging out. It was definitely a cool interview. We also had a little time to chat before and after with the CSM and General Beagle, and it's hey, that's what it's all about. Lauren says, "This is what you've been missing." Oh man, this is a. Thank you for doing. Hey, you're welcome, man. Every Sergeant's Time, every Thursday, like I said, it's mill-related stuff. It's all about the sergeanting, like I said, professional military education, NCO, PDS, professional development, and of course a little bit of NCO mentorship from some of the NCOs. Hell, there's some NCOs and leaders that are in the chats too. We have CSMs, CSMs and commanders and. They are always in the chats. You always see them in there. But tonight we had the division, the 10th Mountain Division. Isn't that pretty cool? They were able to come on. Some of the history that we went over, I was doing a real quick search and doing some research about the mountain. But hey, man, that policy letter is rocking, isn't it? Man, everybody else needs to get off the struggle bus and get on it, get on the stick. With your airborneans and your air assaultants and your dog face soldierins. Anyway, so what is on the docket? Oh man, what is this with this? Boy, we were getting just bumped with some freaking. Don't answer that. Click that. Do not click that link that somebody just dropped in the chats. No way, dudes. There we go. See ya. I wouldn't want to be ya. There was a chat. Do not answer anything. Now, there's a big Facebook scam going on right now where if you click on a link that's in comments or in chats just to get a friend request or whatever, just know, go to your DMs, I guess. Be careful with your DMs, too. Be getting some interesting. Oh, is this? We got to. Yes, exactly that. Recruiter Times. You guys need to link up. We need to have a conference, have a discussion sometime in the next few days. You just tell me when, and we'll get you slotted into the Sergeant's time, and whoever's going to come on too to talk. More than happy to discuss all things recruiting, and some questions too. Also, maybe I don't know. Maybe you guys got any recruiting swag? Just playing. But other than that, let's see what we got going on for. Let me see what do we got going on for the calendar. We just got a big name. We just got another a pretty well-known name sign with CQ for Pop Culture Warrior. Let me just look at the cal right quick. You have a box of sparklers. Let me see. What do we have going on? What do we got going on with the cut sheet? Let's see. It's housekeeping. It's time to do some housekeeping. Let's see. So we have Matthew Letcher from the Flash. Then July 1st we have Carl Whalen. However, just confirmed right now. We just got Adam Baldwin confirmed. I just got the word just now from the front desk from the Adam Baldwin. If you guys don't know who Adam Baldwin is, he played a character that was on Full Metal Jacket, and everybody knows him as Animal Mother, right? He was a dude with the big machine gun that had. That was in Full Metal Jacket, and then I like. There's memes about people who are like Adam Baldwin. There's individuals out there, Alec Baldwin, not Alec Baldwin, not Alec Baldwin, but Adam Baldwin, Animal Mother, yeah. There's individuals out there that like to capture their lives about that, but dude, you I can make a lot of jokes, but I'll we're excited that he's coming on. Now, if you guys don't know, if you guys not seen Full Metal Jacket, and of course, you guys know that Animal Mother is one of the pivotal characters in the movie. I just think it's funny because it's individuals who try to personify their personality off of Adam Baldwin when you might as well personify your personality on the actor who plays Biff. Just some memes that came out that I saw, and I'm like, oh my god, dude, I'm dying. So yes, that Adam Baldwin is going to come. Not Alec Baldwin, Adam Baldwin. He's going to be coming on, and I think it'll be pretty cool. Everyone's like, "Who the hell is Adam Baldwin?" Okay, well, let me get a picture up. Let me get a picture up of Adam Baldwin, and that way you guys can see. Because CQ, we've been rocking it. We've had some pretty good characters on there. Biff, yeah, exactly. Some people come to mind when I see this. So yes, this guy right here. This is the actor that's coming on to join CQ for Pop Culture Warrior. Just locked in. Whoop whoop. Just locked in. So we're excited, and we can't wait to have him join us. We'll get more, of course, graphics coming out, but he'll be here 5 July. And again, the Adam Baldwin. Who's the guy that played Principal Strickland on Back to the Future? That he is the same. He is the same guy that played Ripper on Top Gun, who's also, I think, was it Ripper or Rooster or something like that. He was what's his name? Maverick's commanding officer. So that's who played that played him. So again, we're excited. Can't wait to have him on. Any actor, of course, that wants to join us who's got a military connection. Adam Baldwin's got a pretty huge following, anyways, and a lot of vets like to shoot the shit with him as well. Can't wait to have him on. Of course, CQ's always is like hogging up the good guests, which of course that's his thing. He's his job. We got a lot more coming up too, and a lot of other guests too. Let me see. Let me just double check to make sure, because we already talked about Carl Whelan. We already talked about another veteran. So we got a lot of people coming up. I can't wait. So 1 July is Carl Whelan. He's going to be again back to the Heroes Rumble. Can't wait for him to come on, shoot the shit. Friday Night Freedom tomorrow. Tune in with Kaz and Pookie. And then Saturday and Sunday, we don't have any shows, but Sunday is going to be a locked-in show as well. Monday is the Monday edition. Monday edition with myself and Shipwreck. We will definitely be talking about Second Amendment stuff that day. Can't wait. And then Tuesday's Pop Culture Warrior with Michael Kudesky, also known as CQ, and the voice of the unpop-cultured Radar. My man Radar. Wednesday is going to be a day off, but soon we'll be filled in with a show as well. And then Thursday, of course, is Sergeant's Time with myself and Spanky, who's on a break right now. We also, what was the other thing that we're going to do? What was the other thing we were talking about? What was there was something I was missing. There's something on the tip of the, so you guys know about Big Joe. He's going to be doing the sports bar, and we're also going to have TZ, Tango Zulu. She is going to be teaming up with Radar for another formatted show on Wednesday. Of course, all this is being built together, but we figured since we got her on, Joe already hung out with me. TZ already hung out with me. So I think they're already a great match. They're already getting well with the team. They're going to be going through their training program, so that way they can start podcasting and do the same. Share, like, and follow. Right now we're broadcasting on just a few pages, Twitter, 2 Facebook pages, at WTF Nation Radio, U.S. Army WTF Moments, YouTube, and then, of course, we are streaming on the Twitch. We're on the Twitch right now, slowly getting followers because people are talking about, oh, you guys are on Twitch. I'm like, yes, we're on Twitch. A lot of gamers like to have that up. And also, if you go to WTFNationRadio.com, it is a collection of all of our pages, and that's where you can see it all together. And pretty soon we're going to start slapping up our fucking podcasts again. And then we also have a Discord chat in there. So if you go to that WTFNationRadio.com, you can see the Discord chat. You can see everybody who's in there shooting the breeze and all that. We want to get that going because we want individuals to interact, kind of like how we used to interact in the old chats. Well, kind of like not overboard, because Discord will deactivate your accounts and shut your shit down, and you got to be careful. So be careful. It's moderated, and then of course on the top of the screen you could see, you hit play, and it's all the podcasts that we've had revolving from all of our shows. Sergeant's Time, Friday Night Freedom, even some Saturday Night Savagery. So some of the older shows will be on there if you broadcast it up. And it's always playing on a continuous cycle. So one day you'll hear my voice, you'll hear somebody else's voice and all that. With that, I really, really appreciate the 10th Mountain Division's PAO section for setting up the recording setup. I think that was pretty good deal there that we did. And also I'd like to thank the command team of the 10th Mountain, of course, Mountain 7 and Mountain 6, Sir CSM. It was a great interview. Thank you so much again. And with that, you guys got anything for me? You guys got any? We got anything else going on? Yeah, everything we go or whatever. So, anyways, shots and see you.
Hey, this is SEAC retired John Wayne Troxel. You're listening to WTF Nation Radio, the station of choice for all of the badass MFers on the planet.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
another taste. You stumble around the time you waste, and your table's overturned. Sooner or later you crash, then you burn. I think I wanna die tomorrow. And are you gonna be with me? I think I wanna die tomorrow, 'cause I'm out of time and I'm out of my mind. The simple ways come and go. Still I love the way you turn me on, but I just can't find the words, 'cause everything I say sounds so absurd. I think I wanna die tomorrow. Tomorrow, so will you come and breathe with me? Think I wanna live tomorrow. But I wanna be with me. Think I wanna live tomorrow, 'cause I'm out of time.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.